Tonight, I have some new movie reviews for you, another chance to add and augment your home video collection, and I have some really behind-the-scenes juicy news for you. All that, plus a whole lot more, as Cinematic Class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Greetings, salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. And tonight, we want to start off by saying Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. We are taping this show just before Thanksgiving, and you may be watching it after Thanksgiving because of the schedule. So, in any event, if it's before, Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. And if it's after, I hope you and your family had a very happy Thanksgiving, because it is Thanksgiving and there was no Thanksgiving celebration back in the early Cretaceous period. We've given Rex Real the night off tonight. And speaking of Rex Real, last show we unveiled the official Rex Real baseball cap, what they call the dad's cap. Brand new item coming up for you tonight. We'll talk about that a little bit later on the show. All right, let's get now to the reviews, shall we? You know, people en masse are expecting far less today from their movies. The bar to determine what constitutes a high-quality film is really set very, very low. Megalomaniac scored numerous accolades from various horror film festivals throughout the nation. And I got to tell you, folks, it really doesn't deserve any of them. The movie is directed and edited by Karim Kel Liaj. It's another example of Arabs playing in the field of American movie making when they are not qualified to be in that field. Karim edits this movie on a high school level, and his two main stars, Elaine Schumacher and Ben Raymond, lack the direction to push their performances to the next level. Now, the Butcher is a mass serial killer. He strikes every 15 years, hacking lovely women into pieces, filling those pieces into garbage bags, and then leaving the garbage bags on the side of the highway. Now, this ties in to the subplot of a very homely woman who is working in a factory of equally homey men. However, they frequently rape her. It is her forced sexual encounters that help explain why the Butcher can continue his murderous spree over so many decades. The film is French, and Karim must have watched Breathless before he made it, because he patterns this film after Jean-Luc Godard. I'm not going into my lecture, but Godard is one of the worst filmmakers in movie history. That goes counter to everything that's taught in film school, but it's true. There are jump cuts in this movie, cutting the horizon line, reverse angle framing, and all of the other traits that Godard made famous and make his movies largely unwatchable. Karim, having no vision of his own, appears to have adopted a failed filmmaker's formula.
Nous apprenons cependant de sources sûres que la cellule Corpus, lancée il y a 25 ans au moment de l'affaire du dépeceur de Mons, a été réactivée. En plus de 20 ans, les enquêteurs ont suivi près de 1700 pistes sans jamais trouver aucune preuve. Aujourd'hui, la région est donc terrifiée à nouveau.
Donc là, c'est juste une petite visite de courtoisie pour vérifier que vous allez bien. Et au boulot, ça va?
Ouais, ça va. Il faut bien faire quelque chose. Il faut absolument faire quelque chose.
T'as fouillé dans ma chambre.
Tu m'avais promis un jour de la compagnie.
Je suis pas papa. C'est bien trop dangereux pour toi.
Je te jure, je vais bien m'en occuper.
Tu dois y travailler. Ne pas te faire remarquer, c'est important, Martha. T'as intérêt à t'en occuper. Sinon, il y aura des conséquences, c'est clair. J'ai fini mon travail. Je vais m'occuper de toi.
You know, on the last episode, we introduced the Rex Real store, which is opening up on Redbubble. And again, I'd like to say kudos and thanks to Eric Sprouse and Captain Calico Drake for turning us on to that site. Pretty fun stuff. We introduced the official Rex Real ball cap, the dad's cap as they call it. And on this episode, a brand new item for you. Here's the t-shirt. You know, we're highlighting the black and white logo here for Rex Real. Looks pretty cool on these shirts. Again, there's a variety of colors for the shirts, sizes, all that good kind of stuff. You can see how it looks here on both male and female. It's a unisex t-shirt, I guess. Anyway, they're available now up on Redbubble, and they're running some kind of special where you get like 20% off or something. So check it out. The URL for that is redbubble.com/people/RexReal34. We'll run it up on the bottom here for you. You can go and check out a whole lot of interesting things, but tonight's highlight are the t-shirts. And now let's get back to some more. It seems like every Christmas there's a off-the-wall, out in left field type of Christmas story. And, you know, they're a lot of fun. But let me shift just a little bit and say Lucy Pinder. Okay, now, if you're a red-blooded male, you know Lucy Pinder real well and probably remember her reign as one of the premier Page 3 queens. After her modeling career was over, she kind of slipped into the schlock B movie realm, and frankly, a lot of her movies remain in obscurity. Well, she's in another one, and this one is garnering a little bit more attention. The movie is called Nightmare on 34th Street. Remember they did The Miracle on... Yeah, this is The Nightmare on the kind of a play there on titles. It is a horror anthology on demented Christmas tales. You know I love horror anthologies. Now, starring with Lucy in this movie is Pierce Stevens and Les Mills. The movie is written, edited, produced, shot, and directed by James Crow. Now, you know, recently in our headlines here in America, there's been an awful lot about Jim Crow and his nefarious historical past. I don't know, maybe this is the same guy and he just moved to England and became James Crow. No, that's a joke. He didn't do that. The anthology uses implied gore. Okay, and what I mean by implied gore is you'll have somebody there, you'll see the killer come up behind with the knife and they'll go, yeah, and then it'll cut and you'll see the body fall. You don't actually, you don't see the actual, in this case, for an anthology, that, I don't know, kind of hurts the movie, I think. It certainly makes it a whole lot tamer than last year's Deviant Christmas. Remember Violent Night? Yeah, that was kind of fun. We were actually laughing during that one. It features some really cool teddy bears. When you see these teddy bears, you're going to want one. and a rather sick view, in fact, several sick views of Christmas. Being a British movie, it pokes an awful lot of fun of the government, of world leaders, and Americans, especially Texans. So be warned down there in the old Lone Star State, you may not be too happy with your visage. There are 4 stories involved in this movie. There is the story of the psycho mom. There is the story of Krampus. And this Krampus is kind of cool because he's snarky. All right? There is the story of the killer carolers. And there is the story of the fired Santa. And this one comes from Wild Eye Releasing. They put out some bizarre movies. I think this one is probably less than average for them. And I really think cutting the scenes and not showing the gore really hurt this one. It's called Nightmare on 34th Street.
Do you want to hear a Christmas story? Like one you've never heard before?
I have some news for you from behind the camera and still have something to give away when Outtakes with Rex Reel continues right after this. You know, the old saying goes, I got good news and I've got bad news. So let me start with the good news first. The House of Fairuza Cigar Lounge has just unveiled a whole new lineup of quality cigars for the fall season. Folks, I've had the opportunity to sample some of these. They are magnificent. They truly are. And they're down there now. You could stop in. They're located at the corner of South Park Road and Drake Road. The whole new collection is in and they are amazing. Sam can even help you with it. You say, well, okay, that's fine, but what about the bad news? Well, the bad news is that dues memberships to join the Cigar Lounge are going to go up in the winter. Yeah, things are costing a lot more all the way around. But wait, it's not all bad. There's good news to go with the bad. And that is that if you lock in your price now, you avoid the price increase. So let's not call it good news, bad news. Let's call it good news, good news. You've got a whole brand new lineup of cigars, which are simply amazing. And if you lock in your due rate now, the increase won't affect you. Can't go wrong. Yeah, that's a win-win situation. The House of Fairuza Cigar Lounge. It's located on the corner of South Park Road and Drake Road. Stop by and see them today. Welcome back to the show. Got some juicy tidbits for you behind the screen in this edition of The Biz Bus. A lot of good things happening in this edition of the Biz Buzz, but you know, a lot of it does not follow common sense. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. Netflix continues to totally ignore its audience and just push its woke agenda into its programming. And wow, this is such a huge mistake. Specifically, let me talk about a new series they put out called The Fall of the House of Usher. There are 8 episodes in this limited series that they are producing. Now, as an amateur horror writer and a lover of Edgar Allan Poe, I was pretty anxious to see this. Folks, I literally had to struggle to make it through the first episode. And I guarantee you I'm not going back for any of the other ones. It's really that bad. There is so much virtue signaling in this first episode alone that it's like somebody trying to shove too much food down your throat at one time. It's not palatable. And all of this woke scenarios and social justice nonsense that they're sticking into this first episode alone has nothing to do with the terrors of being buried alive, which is the whole point of The Fall of the House of Usher. It was absolutely dreadful. I could not get to it at all. And I got to tell you that, Netflix isn't the only one that's screwing up shows with this social justice nonsense. Pardon me. Marvel is doing it too. I shouldn't even say Marvel. Disney is doing it to Marvel. They just released a movie called The Marvels. Now, full disclosure, I have to say right from the get-go, I don't like Captain Marvel. I never did. I don't like Brie Larson as the character. I don't like the movies that she has been in. They're just not good. And she's not really that great of an actor that she can pull off a superhero role. Now, I'll let you know how old I am. I like Captain Marvel when Captain Marvel was a little kid, and I believe he was a handicapped kid, and he would say the word Shazam and he would turn into Captain Marvel. Yeah, that died when Marvel and DC had this big fight. And they branched it off, and Shazam became his own superhero in DC, and Captain Marvel became a different superhero in the Marvel universe. And since that split, I haven't been real excited, about the character at all. Nonetheless, that said, this movie that they came out, The Marvels, cost upwards of $250 million to make. All right? Now, opening weekend it pulled in $46 million. That's not good, because the following weekend, the box office dropped by 78%, and it continues to do so. Boy, this is a losing proposition, and most of it is because they continue to stick this woke agenda into this storyline. I mean, when you take a look at the Marvels, my God, you couldn't ask for a better, diversification of characters than what they're giving you here. And it's forced. It's very forced. And the best part about it is Marvel has an established canon for this character. And it's like, well, let's just ignore that so that we could stick all this propaganda nonsense in there. And it's ruining a lot of things. So you may ask, well, geez, Professor, if you're going to be so critical, is anyone doing anything right? Glad you asked, because somebody is getting it right. And of all people, it's Amazon Prime Studios. They've come out with, well, they had not yet, but they're coming out with the second season of Reacher. Now, this will be officially released, I believe, on December 15th. So you got a while to wait for it yet. But right now, it's an 8-episode series, just like the first year. And I think I'm about halfway through. I think I'm on like episode 5 right now or something. It's good. It is really good. If you enjoyed the first season of Reacher, you're going to like this second. The one thing the first season dealt with the first book, which was Killing Floor, Lee Child's book. This second season jumps over to book 11, and it's based on Hard Luck and Trouble, okay, the name of the book. So they went from book 1 to book 11, but you know what? The transition, it works. The way they put it together, it works. They've altered the story a little bit to make it more friendly, I guess, for TV, and it works. This is an awful lot of fun. It's paced well. It's moving well. Well done. And finally, in tonight's version of the Biz Buzz, I tip my hat to Ryan Reynolds. You know, this guy's pretty slick. He has invested in an Alpine F1 team. I'm not a big racing fan, but apparently he is. His driver is Esteban Ocon. I don't know him. You guys who love racing may. And for the next race and various races thereafter, since Ryan Reynolds has put his money behind it, shall we say, he is going to wear a helmet that is Deadpool themed. I think that's pretty cool. You know, Ryan Reynolds is pretty smart. He comes out, does a movie, makes a couple of millions with it. He's already now into the Alpine F1 team. He already owns part of a soccer team, and he also owns a cell phone company. So it's nice to see when they do that little investing and branch some stuff out, and that's pretty smart stuff, pretty cool stuff. I have to do that with my millions someday, right, Dave? Invest into something or other, I don't know what. I'll tell you what I'll invest in right now. I'll invest in exploring you, augmenting your home video. This is not a digital copy, my friends. We are giving you the official Blu-ray for this movie. And this one, especially if you like action films, this one is pretty, I don't know what the appeal is, but most of the Asian filmmaking countries, China, Japan, Korea, even Thailand, have a lot of mythos about blind swordsmen, okay? And this is China's version right here. This is the latest original movie from the Haya Network. This is Eye for an Eye, The Blind Swordsman. This one has an awful lot of action in it, and it's all jam-packed into a 78-minute movie, so it's pretty cool. I'm going to give you the chance to have the Blu-ray edition. You're not going to lose this one when you change platforms. You can always have this because I'll put this right in your hands. All you need to do is send me your name and a return address at this email section below, and I'll be glad to fire one of these into the U.S. Postal Service and get one to you ASAP, as they say. I liked watching this one. This had a lot of... those blind swordsmen are always so much better than the guys with the eyes. I don't know why, but it's pretty good stuff. Here's a look now at Eye for an Eye.
程瞎子是个捉刀人，捉刀办事，用命换钱。
瞎子，领了上前走吧。对了。城西卖酒的全家让人当狗宰了，是不是归你管？他已经够惨了。这趟浑水你趟不了，这地儿你待不了了。
我给你钱，你帮我杀了他们，杀人偿命，我只是想要个公道。
Director and editor Aaron Bratcher borrows a page from Time Rider. Remember that? That was Fred Ward's cult classic. And he weaves a tale of time travel to the Old West. Now, Daryl is played by Jeff Grinnell. He's a ranch hand who's really kind of a klutz, but he envisions himself as a John Wayne type hero from the Old West. When he stumbles upon a door that is located in the middle of a field, it transports him back in time and allows him to prove that he is a man of the West. When he's back in the Old West, He meets Marion, who is played by Deborah Lamb, and finds the true love of his life. And he even gets to meet John Wayne himself. Of course, there's bad guys in the guise of Orson Kane, who was played by Vernon Wells. See what they did there? They took Orson Welles and Citizen Kane and made it Orson Kane. I thought that was pretty clever. And the Beast, who is played by Jesse Marciniak. This movie is cute, as Westerns go, with an underlying tale of a man out of time. The acting is a little bit stiff, and unfortunately, so is the dialogue as well. Dean Bundy is the cinematographer, and together with Bratcher, they've made this movie entirely too long. There are real no surprises in what's going to happen here in the plot. Everybody knows where this thing is going to go. But even so, it takes its good old time in getting there with really unnecessary repetition of scenes and of concepts. And in addition, it falls into one of the mistakes of independent movies in that when you're making a movie, it's a visual medium. So you don't need to tell people what they're seeing. They can see it. And if you have a good actor can convey feelings of a scene with just facial expressions. He doesn't need to go into an oratory about how he's feeling. The dialogue there is not necessary. This movie does not follow that rule. And as a result, everything about it just needs to be turned up a notch on this thing. Still, it's worth a view. Not bad. We're going to give it a fair to middling gray. We'll give it a C. Here's a look now at Showdown in Yesteryear.
Howdy.
Stranger, what can I get for you?
I'd like to have a Captain and a Coke.
A what?
That's good, brother. You guys do go all out here. Thank you. Just saw a man get killed. This is real.
Wait till you hear this, Sheriff. Go on and tell him.
I woke up this morning in the year 2022. I found a door. I fell through it. That brought me here. So I've been running around looking for it so I can find my way back home.
I know a lot of powerful people. I can be a good friend to you, or I can rain down upon you all the horrors of hell. And I promise you, you will regret it.
Welcome to Dogwood Pass.
It's a hard life, Mr. Wayne. My husband was the only man who stood up to him. The Beast shot him in cold blood.
What you doing with that flyer?
I can be your deputy.
You know how to shoot them sidearms you're wearing?
Hell no.
You damn well better learn. It's Future Boy!
Duck, damn whiskey in the future. Does it glow in the dark?
It's your last chance to go back.
When I said I'd do it, I meant it.
How do you think this ends, Dobbs?
I found something. Call it a place. Call it a time.
I would love to talk more movies to you, but we are fresh out of time. Don't forget, Eye for an Eye can be yours. Just send your name and a return address. I'll mail one of these bad boys out to you. And don't forget about the new t-shirts in the Rex Reel store. Hey, now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.